Today is a good day. Today we're doing some tuning on my ACES EFI swap on the 1979 AMC Spirit AMX. As you can hear, it is AMC 304 powered. We did recently switch this thing from carbureted to fuel injected. We are also running the ACES Command Center, which is a surge tank setup. So it's running a fuel pump in the front, mechanically fed off of the mechanical fuel pump. And I've had some issues with it in the past, but the biggest problem I've had in the past is the fact that I couldn't restart the car when it was hot. Well, fortunately, Rich went ahead and replaced the starter on this thing over the weekend. And now, in case I get stranded, I can actually restart the car. So, it's a 50-degree day here randomly in the middle of beginning of February in Ohio. And in order to get this thing tuned, it means I have to go for a drive. That's not a bad way to spend the day. So we're gonna get this thing dialed in. There's my command center there, you can see. Hey, there we go, there we go. Easiest way to do one of these things, because you don't have to replace any of the mechanical fuel pump stuff. It literally just mechanically feeds this pump, and then this pump feeds that unit. Easy as peasy. But yeah, I've got to basically just kind of go around and drive it. The nice thing is with these auto learning features is it will take your base parameters. In this case, I'm roughly 310 cubic inches. I set my idle speed that I'm looking for. It has the O2 signal that it wants out of my exhaust. And it basically builds a base map. It says, based on your parameters, this is about where you should be, and fire it up and then get it up to operating temperature and go drive it. That's it. And the machine will start to learn itself as you drive. It'll learn your throttle positions. It'll learn how much fuel to use where. It'll learn what the load is on the car, and it just kind of self-tunes itself. Now, there are definitely some advanced features that you can get into as well if you want to load it with a laptop, where you can turn things on and off and you can really fine-tune things. But what I really want to focus on is just getting this thing running as good as we can get it running off of just a base tune without touching anything. At that point in time, once this thing is running correctly and not having any other problems, we're gonna get it on our dyno, because this car is running a ACES EFI conversion. This is now a 360 Mopar swap that's been done. We literally just finished in this CUDA, and it's running the identical type of idea that we have on this one. So we're gonna get both of these things on our chassis dyno and run them, and we're gonna be able to compare what this thing makes on distributor or on a fuel injection system versus what we did on a carburetor, and see whether or not we pick up any power, if we pick up power, where we pick it up, and what our drivability looks like. So should be pretty interesting. It's going to be something you'll see coming here very shortly. But I get to go for a drive, which is not a bad way to spend my day, and I get to do it in my AMX, which is one of my favorite cars I own. Charged well, up to 212 degrees temperature wise. So put some miles on her. Got our brain down there on the floor. The nifty thing for you guys that are old school carbureted guys, where you're adjusting your idle based on the screws that are on the side, you really don't mess with that very much. You just kind of take the slack out of the throttle, and then you just kind of tell the computer where you want the idle to be. You target whatever the idle is, and it will play around with where it needs to be as far as fuel to be able to target that idle level. Now, this does not have their ignition system. This is still running old school original AMC ignition stuff. They don't make one for AMC V8s just yet. Hey, by the way, ACES guys, make one. Because it would be really nice to be able to use that to be able to control my ignition timing as well. They do make them for a lot of other vehicles. That actually has their distributor in it in the Mopar. They make them for small block Fords and Chevys and LSs and all kinds of stuff to be able to control timing. It's not something they offer yet for this. But otherwise, if I had that unit, this exact same device can control timing as well as fuel delivery. So we're gonna kind of play around with this a little bit. We just wrote a brand new tune to this thing, so it needs to relearn basically everything. It learns all of the different fuel levels and what it needs based on where your throttle position sensor is. So it's going to be a little pissed for a little while as it starts to learn different parameters. That's how you do it. Pretty cool. With this one too, check fluid levels. These systems really have come quite a long way over the years. Initially, they were a gigantic pain in the neck, and most of the time, like with the MSD situation, most of the time you're having issues, it's usually installer error. You've either got a vacuum leak or some kind of electrical problem or something along those lines. The majority of the time with these EFI systems, it's usually something that we did wrong, not the machine itself. Ooh, it's not heavy there. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Gotta learn that tip-in spot. Let's go around the roundabouts a little bit. Let it learn some low throttle acceleration points. Good news is, here in Dublin, we are the land of roundabouts. We've got plenty of them. Way to spend the afternoon, huh? We're tuning, boys. We're tuning. I love this car. I absolutely love this car. Sounds so good. I have probably put 15,000 miles on this car, I would say, since we put it together like 6 years ago. It's gone on 3 consecutive power tours, 21, 22, 23. Performed flawlessly. Even managed to reheat some barbecue on my floorboards. That was an experience. But it's just an absolutely fantastic little ride. It's not anywhere near nice by any means, but it's a really, really fun car. Now, the last time I drove this thing on an extended road trip, I did get about 19 miles per gallon on the Brawler 650 that was on this. So it'll be interesting to see with fine tuning what this EFI conversion will do for my fuel economy on the car. Unfortunately, in order to be able to try to figure that part out, I do need to get my fuel gauge working again, which currently does not work. Well, the gauge works, but we don't have a float on the sending unit, so it doesn't work. Tip-in's better. And the nice thing is, this system basically rewrites its tune whenever you're in closed loop and it's learning. So you just shut the car off, leave it sit for a moment or two, it rewrites the tune to the ECU, you start it back up and it's better. And you drive it around some more. And then you shut it off, you start it back up, and it's better. You just keep doing that. And it keeps learning its specific situation that it's attached to and getting better and better and better as you drive it. Also, it makes much better adjustments on the fly if you're changing altitudes. Barometric pressures and altitudes can be an absolute nightmare on carbureted vehicles. On this, no big deal at all. All right, we're gonna pull in here, we're gonna shut this thing off. Let it write the tune. Oh, by the way, 5-speed now, out of a Mustang, instead of the original 4-speed that was in the car. Fires right up. No pumps. That feature is one of the biggest reasons that people go to EFI, is that you just get in it, turn the key, and it fires right up. You don't need to realize like what the pressure is outside, if it's parked on a hill, how long it's been since you started it. Is it a 2-pump situation or a 3-pump situation, or maybe a 1-pump and hold situation? Just turn the key, it fires right up. So far, I'm happy. Let's keep driving. I will warn you that stalling is invariably going to happen. It is invariably going to be a little bit pissy the first time you take it out and drive it, which is one of the reasons that this car hasn't been properly tuned, is because my starter was roached. And if it did stall, slash when it would stall, I was stranded. So the last time I drove this thing, I literally just down the road from here ended up sitting for an hour and a half in between two cornfields waiting for the starter to cool down and give me one more restart. And it literally gave me one more restart to get back to the shop, and then it was dead. So that's why the car's been sitting for a while. That's why I haven't gone through this process since the fall, really, when we had this thing installed. Is because I literally couldn't restart the car. So it's not an ACES issue, it's a my starter was fried kind of issue. And it is tricky with these cars, especially when you're running headers, which this one does. The starter and the headers sit almost in exactly the same real estate, especially with the big Ford barrel starter. So my headers would cook my starter, the starter would overheat, and that's the end of that. So that's why I have to redo this. Now that I have my starter replaced, I can actually go out and go through this process. She's pissed. She's pissed. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. There we go. So, oddly, you kind of actually want to force it into those situations where it's going to have to learn whatever that problem is. Make sure there's nobody behind me. Nope, we're good. Getting better. Oh, nope, lost it that time. Call this hot rod power tour prep. Move forward 10 feet, stop. Clearly my camera spot is not a great spot. I'm trying here. I'm trying, guys. So it's still got a tip in problem. And it does not like decelerating down to a stop sign. I'm gonna let this car come past me here. Some of these low RPM accelerations and decelerations. I'm coming up on the intersection where I got stranded, so I got a little bit of PTSD. Oh, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, baby. Don't leave me stranded, don't leave me stranded, don't leave me stranded. It's fighting to learn that idle spot. Right here is where I got stranded. Oh, we're gonna make it. Slow down in second gear. Come on, baby. I need you to learn that spot. Everything else is just fine. I need you to learn this spot right here. Dang it! Clutch in and brake. That's where I'm learning. That's where we're having our problems. Clutch in and brake. Clutch in and brake. Clutch in and gas. Clutch in and brake. Getting better. That's much better. That's really how this works, guys. You go out and you put it through its paces. You let it learn what it needs to do and run into problems. And you want to keep on repeating those problems until it continues to change those tables to be able to offset whatever it's seeing, whatever it's not happy about. You just keep driving it. Clutch in and brake. First gear. It is frustrating, but it'll get better. Eggs, $5 a dozen. Yeah, I'd buy eggs from there. All right, I've been driving for about 45 minutes or so. One of the other nice features here is you can go in here and turn on data logging. And you can select what all you want to actually data log. So I can drive around, and if I do run into a problem, I can then go backwards and I can look at that. Whoops. That way, if I do run into a problem, I can go back and I can look at my data logs instead of driving around trying to stare at my screen and my gauges to see what's going on. it gives me a built-in feature, a data log, and I can go back and I can compare that with where I need to be, and I can see where my problems are, and I can fine-tune things from there. Also, I will say that the folks at ACES are fantastic as far as troubleshooting and tech support goes. Every single time we've ever called them on anything we've ever run into, usually a problem caused by us, they have been absolutely fantastic as far as being able to help us out on the phone. So, ACES in my book. Let's put a few more miles on it, take it back to the shop, and we'll see what's what. Okay, down a gear. Pulls nicely. That shut off when it goes in, when I clutch in, is really my only big problem. The shut off when I clutch in. That is the only problem I'm running into. God dang it. Shuts off when I clutch in. All right, well, I think I've got this one licked, guys. There's a setting I need to change. We're gonna go test my theory. Theory we're working with here is, because this is a manual transmission car, that we're over-fueling when we clutch in. It's shutting the motor down. So, there's a little feature in here where you can turn, pardon me while I boot up my pewter here. If we go into tuning, go into fuel, and go into advanced, decel fuel cut. I've now got this turned on, that is by default off. And my thinking is that fuel cut is what's the problem. When it sees me in decel, aka clutch in, slowing down to brake, it's over-fueling. It just keeps on throwing fuel at it like it's normally trying to do. And I think that's my issue. I bet you that's my problem. I bet you that's my problem. So, we're gonna go for one more drive as the sun's starting to come down and see if I have officially fixed a thing. In which case, this thing is basically ready to rock and roll. Just put some more mileage on it, oh darn, and then we'll put it on the dyno here soon. Because this motor, as weird as this is to say, is about to come out of this car. Now that we've just got it running just right, we're gonna take it back apart. Because I've got a big bed 325 we're gonna put in this thing, which is a max bore 304. That's gonna go into the hood of this thing and make it considerably more fun, because it's gonna make a good deal more power than the 304 that's in this thing. This is a real budget build that was in this. We didn't really do anything fancy schmancy whatsoever. Not that we did anything fancy schmancy on the max bore 304, but at least a little more schmancy. All right, let me try to figure out a way to mount my camera on the windshield here real quick so I can drive and talk to you at the same time. And we'll verify that I have actually done a thing. All right, let's see if that thing stays on the window. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to probably buy a new camera. Safety first. Not sure if I do crash this thing that I want to be in it or out of it. You hear right there? Normally it would have stalled, and it caught itself. You hear that? It's catching itself. It's learning. I think I did a thing. Alright, so if I throw a clutch in, normally it would have died right there. I think we did it, boys. I think we found my mystery problem. It's not dying. Yes! Clutch in and stop. It doesn't die. I am happy. I love this little car. I know some of you may not agree with me, but this is a fantastic little ride. It is the embodiment of it's better to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. This thing makes like 220 horsepower at the tires, somewhere thereabouts. I don't know what it weighs. It's got a little bit of factory weight loss from rust and such, and the fact that it doesn't have as much interior anymore. But man, it is just so much fun to drive. It is as analog gets. Even with the EFI on it, it still is a fantastic machine. It is so much fun to drive. It makes such great noises. Everybody loves it. Anywhere you go when you're driving this thing, anywhere you go, you get looks. Now they may think you're crazy or what the hell is that thing? But it is just a phenomenal car. Right there, buddy. Clutch in, on the brakes, slowing her down from 40 miles an hour. We have resolved our problem. I am happy. Oh, it caught itself. You hear that? Yes! God, I love getting the wind. I don't get a lot of those these days, so it's good to have one. So good. All right, now the next conversation that we want to have here is going to be, what do you think this thing's going to do versus carburetor on the dyno? Will it make more power? Will it make the same power? Will it make less power? Will it make a different power curve? Because a lot of times your carburetors are designed for kind of wide open throttle and wide open and idle, and a lot of the in between is not quite right. It's okay, but it's not quite right. That's one of the places that EFI can really shine, because it's taking the inputs. Oh, it did die on me. It did die on me. Well, I'll be darned. But fired right up without having to clear the flood condition. So I still got some tuning to do, but that definitely did fix my issue. I'm very, very excited about that. Very happy. But normally speaking, that's one of the nice things with EFI is it's gonna take that data, and it's a much more dynamic situation that can adjust based on the conditions that it sees, versus a carburetor doesn't. Not that carburetors are bad. I love carburetors, and I run carburetors on most everything I have, but it's one of the benefits of being EFI. Oh God, thank you. Thank you for not having any more problems. Oh, that was driving me nuts. driving me nuts. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up here. Thank you very much for going along for the ride with me. Thanks for coming along on the tuning. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin. This is kind of a little side channel from us here at Lucor Automotive. It's mostly just me and my stupidity and my projects and that kind of stuff, my road trips. And if you like this kind of thing, click on the subscribe button. If you've been here before and you came back for another show, thanks for being here. Truly do appreciate you. It's you guys that are watching this stuff that help me pay the bills and let me do more of this stuff. So stay tuned for a whole lot more. I hope to see you back here. Take care. Bye-bye.